Hey guys, what's up? So next poem I'm going to be reading is 1020, and this is called Testing the Perfectionist. This is kind of a continuation to a short story I wrote a while back. I like the concept of this a lot, so much that I'm probably going to elaborate on it and make it into a story later on. This is about a guy who was at a friend's house for a get-together and comes across this guy that is a bit arrogant, and he keeps persisting him, but for some reason he doesn't walk away. There's something about his confidence that both intrigues him but also disgusts him. Testing the Perfectionist. I met him at a friend's get together, well, to be exact, an acquaintance. He was entertaining half the room with every answer to a trivia game. Everyone was impressed by the way he was getting every answer correct. I wasn't really paying attention, sitting on the sofa near the jukebox, texting my boyfriend asking him if he was going to drop by. People were asking for him. He said he had a long day at work and that he was just going to head home. I told him I understood and that I'd see him there later. I put my phone in my pocket and grabbed my glass of wine that was set near the stand by me, which I had put before. All of a sudden, I hear a voice. It was him, standing right above me. Sweet bliss. I looked at him. He was tall, masculine, and extremely handsome, but of course, in a very arrogant way. Excuse me, what was that? The burgundy wine you're drinking. Sweet bliss. I smiled and looked out the window, taking a sip from my glass. He took a seat right by me, not even asking if someone was sitting here. Not into the trivia or games, are you? I shrugged my shoulders, not giving him eye contact. Usually, I'm not into group activities. It took a lot of me to come here. The acquaintance whose house we were in was coming around with a bottle of wine. He came towards our direction. Thank God I was feeling a bit uncomfortable. Would you guys like more? I was about to say something when Mr. Perfectionist, look at that, I already gave him a nickname. Well, he grabbed my glass and lifted it up to him, having him pour halfway. He laughed as he went to the others. I finally looked at him as he looked at me. You have to speak up. I slightly chuckled and said, I can tell you have no problem with that. He laughed, got up, and went to the jukebox. Do you like music? I set my glass down and turned to him. I love rhythm and words. It's a good combination. He skimmed through the songs with his finger. Okay, perfect. Let's see which one of us can pick the perfect song on here. I nodded my head. That's ridiculous. It's all a matter of taste and opinion. He got closer to me and said, yeah, but which one did better that year? I indulged him in this stupid game, and what do you know? He was right. He even Googled that shit. I told him he reminded me of someone I once knew. He got a bit excited, but once I told him it was a date gone wrong, thinking it would crush him, he just laughed. He then said, your problem is you don't want someone to test you, to improve you, to better you. I laughed at him and said, being in a relationship is not a competition. He then took my glass and took a sip. Let me see a picture of your boyfriend. I couldn't believe how nosy, but how persistent. I handed him my phone with a selfie. The boyfriend and I took a trip we took a few months ago. He handed it back to me very quickly and said, just what I thought. My eyes grew wide. I was about to offend him and rip him into 1,000 different pieces when I just decided to get up and walk away. He then stood in my way and actually apologized. He also opened up about this boyfriend he used to have, that they were going to get married, but they got into a car accident and he lost him. And the reason why he's been single since was because he's never found one person who would fit into his shoes. I apologized to him about that, and then he said that I reminded him of his lover, the way that we both tested him, and he liked it. As the night kept going on, we kept laughing, having cheese and more wine. I was getting tired and I needed to leave. I told him it was nice to meet him. I then said goodbye to everyone at the get-together, and I walked outside. He then came outside to tell me I forgot something. I looked around me. I had everything. He then came closer to my lips and he was doing I realized what he was doing and backed up and smiled. It was really nice meeting you. Little did I know that story he told me about the boyfriend wasn't true. His last boyfriend left him because he couldn't manage him, always being right. That night I went home, cuddled right by my boyfriend, and fell asleep. So, I went to a party, met Mr. Perfectionist, and although he probably thinks he tested me, it was the other way around. Hopefully he learned something from me.